Welcome back to the Transaction Care Podcast. This is episode 38, aka the Beyonce episode. If you're watching on YouTube or watching the clips on Instagram, I am wearing a Beyonce t-shirt. My Zoom background is Beyonce cheesing, smiling, a photo I took at the show. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about my experience attending the Renaissance World Tour, starring the queen herself, Beyonce, as well as 7 lessons that I learned through this whole roller coaster, a year long of waiting and anticipation and excitement and buildup for just, spoiler alert, perfection. I had such a good time. So let's just get straight into this episode. All right, so let me know in the comments if you have attended the Renaissance World Tour and what was your experience like, because I'm about a week and a half out, 2 weeks almost since I went to her last show, and I am still on this natural high of events. I don't know if this is gonna last. I don't know if this is just the new me, you attend a Beyonce concert and then you're just forever changed. I mean, truly, honestly, I can vouch for that because every Beyonce show I have attended, I become a new person. But something about this whole Renaissance era of hers has been just very much in alignment with who I am and who I'm becoming. And as we all know, Renaissance means rebirth. And this is just the act 1 of her series of who knows what's coming. We know there's perfume. We know there's a hair care line. There still are no visuals for this album. The world tour is underway and actually almost done. I got to see her 2 times. I'm very tempted to go see her one more time. So if you are listening to this episode and would like to sponsor me with Beyonce tickets, feel free. You don't have to worry about my flight or hotel. I will take care of that myself. But if anyone wants to just, I don't know, gift me with some tickets to either the Houston or New Orleans show, I'll even take the last show in Kansas City. I'm not picky. I'll go with you. But you got to shoot your shot. Why not? So let's jump into this episode. I was very excited to the point where I forgot to record the episode. I gave myself last week off, which was Labor Day. So whether you're listening to this in the future or live, this isn't one of the lessons, but this is what I took away from attending her show right off the bat, is just giving myself that time, that leisurely relaxation time to break, to reset, to reassess, to renaissance, to actually enjoy my time away from my desk and to truly care for myself outside of work. And I take my work everywhere I go. But for me, I personally don't consider a lot of what I do actual quote unquote work, because it is my business. It is under my control, my power, of course, with, it's God's plan, God's guidance, but ultimately these are the choices I've made. And it's rare that I ever really put the laptop down. I think out of the whole weekend, I opened my laptop one time and was good to go. So I gave myself a Monday off from actually recording this episode, and I'm very grateful for that because I was starting to feel a bit burnt out. And let me know in the comments if you've been feeling burnt out lately or just discouraged and just struggling with which direction to move forward, or who to work with and stuff like that. I've definitely been feeling it. It is September 2023. We're approaching fall, summer is ending, and the year is wrapping up as well. So I can imagine the exhaustion that we are all experiencing, which is why I wanted to keep this episode a bit lighter, a little bit more fun, and just talk about Beyonce. If you've been following me, you know I am an active member of the Beehive. So this is not new. I am not new to this. I am true to this. It's literally in my bio. If you read my bio, it says active member of the Beehive. So let's just jump straight into this because it's going to be a good one. Lesson number 1. I'm going to give you guys 7 lessons I learned at the Beyonce Renaissance World Tour experience. Lesson number one, we do not have the same 24 hours. No matter what anyone says, we do not have the same 24 hours. And let me break that down a little bit. So as we know, there are levels to this here life, to this here wealth, talent, skill, access, all of that. Beyonce is a millionaire, if not a billionaire. Collectively within her family, she's a billionaire, her net worth. So when I say we don't have the same 24 hours, I'm saying I don't have the same access to assistance, to help, to outsourcing, the resources, the money, the funds to be able to hire individualized and custom help for certain aspects of my business. I am still a one-person show. I'm working towards hiring an editor, towards, just hiring more of like a social media team, which means currently that I have to invest more time on my own I have to allocate more time towards doing these things on my own versus Beyonce is able to show up to rehearsal, put on a great show, work out any kinks that may have gone wrong or gone right in the show, and just rinse and repeat. On top of making all of the other decisions that she has to as a boss, as the owner of her business, her production company, as well as being the head of all of these employees that she has as well. So in order for all of this to work, she needs to incorporate, hire, outsource hundreds and hundreds of people, if not thousands. And I say thousands because if we don't show up, this doesn't work. None of this works if people don't attend the shows. So when you hear people say we have the same 24 hours as Beyonce, as Oprah or The Rock, it's not true. It really isn't. It's not a realistic scope of breakdown of 24 hours because the access, the resources, the money they have, they can outsource so much, which allows them to get more done. So it appears as if we have the same 24 hours, but in actuality, we do not. So if you do strive to be as excellent, if you strive for Beyonce, the brand excellence, then consider allocating your time through outsourcing, hiring, creating a team. And that's just something that I wanted to come on here and say, because I think many of us have it confused, like, well, if they can get all this done, so can I. That's the quickest way to burn out. I think we should be striving towards elevation and growth, which means team building, outsourcing, and hiring and firing the right people. So that's the first lesson that I definitely learned is you and I, Beyonce, do not have the same 24 hours. So again, she just went above and beyond, and teamwork, essentially just, we cannot grow alone forever. Like you max out at a certain point, and it's up to you if you want to keep going in that same direction or if you're content with where you're at. We all know from the clips and the videos and the reviews how much Beyonce goes above and beyond, which brings me to my next point. Is the next lesson that I learned is practice makes imperfection look perfect. Let me repeat that. Practice makes imperfection look perfect. On this tour, she had so much fun. This was the most relaxed, the most engaged, just the most light, the lightest I've ever seen Beyonce. And I've gone to almost every local Beyonce show. I've been going to every local Beyonce concert since I was in the 7th grade. I'm about to be 40 next year, so you can do the math. Just as long as she's been out, I have been following her career. So that's 25, just about 25 years of my life. I have committed as a fan, as an active member of the Beehive, to being a fan of this person who I adore, and seeing her at this stage of her career in her 40s, in her whatever season of life she's in, it's beautiful to witness. And if you're a newer fan, just now experiencing Beyonce, I think you are getting her at her best. She's always been great at all the things she's done, but there's something about this part of her life where she just exudes freedom. She exudes fun. And when you're a mega star like that, you have to be on your P's and Q's. You have to be perfect. You can't make a mistake. I saw her make so many mistakes during the show that I was just like, I love it. If anything, I was more excited when I saw her almost fall. Not that I wanted her to fall, but there's something about her, even watching clips, like seeing her miss a step or change, miss a dance step or change the lyrics of a song, or, her wardrobe malfunctions. And she just embraced it. She took it on she took it with no sweat. She didn't stop the show, except for that one time, but I wasn't at that show. But practice ultimately makes imperfection look perfect, because she just rolled with whatever was given to her. And those mistakes were a small fraction of the entire event. But there was something about seeing her mess up that humanized her in a way that I appreciated. Of course, we all want a flawless show, a flawless day, a flawless business experience, but life isn't like that. Life isn't perfect. We can strive for those and aim is high, and the majority of our day and our business can go that way, but we're going to have hiccups, so we're going to mess up. And if we constantly strive for perfection, it's not going to unravel the way we intend it. So just have fun, pay attention to the details, and just keep practicing, keep rehearsing. So if you're someone out there struggling with, cold calling or being in front of a camera or the sound of your voice, practice makes imperfection look perfect. Remember that. So just keep practicing, put in the time, put in the hours, and eventually it's going to come so natural that you're going to forget that that was a point in your life where you were insecure. Or you're not going to forget, but it's going to be so far in the distance that you're going to look back and say, wow, I can't believe how far I've come, or how far I've grown or improved, or how much more I love myself. I love my voice. I love how I look on camera, even when my hair is messed up or even when my hair is fixed. So again, practice makes imperfection look perfect. That was a cool lesson, and just cool to witness for her at this stage of her career. The next lesson number 3, ask and demand what you need. So I went to the San Francisco, aka Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, which they made Beyonce the mayor, which I think was so cool, and the Los Angeles in Inglewood stop on a Wednesday, and then the Saturday it was show number 2 for her in LA out of the 3. And when I say ask and demand what you need, mind you, she announced this tour almost a year ago. The album came out a little over a year ago. So we've been preparing for this tour. Outfits, hair, makeup, jewelry, shoes, how we're going to get there, who we're going with, how much are we budgeting for tickets, hotels, all of that has been in the works for a year. And 1 week before the shows I was attending, which happened to land during Virgo season, and if you are a true Beyonce fan, and even if you're not, I'm about to tell you, Beyonce is the Queen Virgo. She embraces her signs, astrology, all of that. So she definitely celebrates being a Virgo. If you listen to her music, she says Virgo a lot. There's a song on her album called Virgo's Groove. So she asked all of us a week before these shows were about to hit. Mind you, I've already placed my orders, spent money. I've been coordinating with my friends. What are you wearing? What are you wearing? She says, everyone wears silver. Let me see if I could pull up the post. But she said, for everyone to wear silver, I want to light up the stadiums. Let's see. I don't think she has it on her page, but basically she said for everyone to wear silver. Now, I'm not saying if you're working a transaction or if you're starting a business to, make your customers wear a certain color, unless that's what the event calls for. But what I'm getting at is asking for what you need is essential to building your confidence. If you're someone that's not used to asking for help or asking for things that are required for your day to function. Beyonce said, I'm flipping the script. I'm gonna need you guys all to get in formation and to coordinate, and because we're all wearing silver, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. So everyone now is like scrambling. And I saw some people say online that I'm not changing what I'm wearing. It is what it is, even if I don't match. And thankfully the outfits I had were already, you know, in coordination to what was set. But I definitely would have invested in a little bit more silver, but it all turned out great. I had a blast. And with that said, I think asking slash demanding, it wasn't much of a demand, it was a request, but I use the word demand because I think we got to assert ourselves a little bit more sometimes in this industry, especially if you're working in real estate. It is a very demanding, high, fast-paced industry. So if you're not inserting yourself at a rate that everyone else is moving, you might get left behind or get lost along the way. And with that, I think Beyonce knew her worth. She asked for her worth, and she wanted this situation, this tour, to be unique. Unique. And she got exactly what she wanted. She said, for Virgo season, we're all showing up in silver, in chrome. We're going to disco the hell out of this event and just shine as bright as we can together. And I love that because that unifies the whole situation. So when the photos are taken, the videos are taken, everyone just looked amazing, whether they complied or not. It was just such a fun, almost like team building exercise because now we're all having to scramble together. And asking for what you need is key to being successful in business. You can't just sit around and expect people to read your mind or to follow suit just because you've done it. You know, some people may, but if you don't actively, openly say what you need and what you want, it's going to be very hard for people to predict what it is you're looking for. And that goes for job descriptions, interviewing, hiring, firing. Again, ask and demand for what you need. And it definitely goes for asking and demanding pay, knowing your worth in that sense. I am worth this much, and this is how much I charge. This is how prices are going to go up this season. This is how much I charge for these separate services. Believe me, I am taking note, especially now that I'm starting my coaching, now that I have started my coaching business. Doors open, by the way. More info on that at the end of this episode. But if you want to do one-on-one coaching, just message me right now. Doors are open. Let's get it going. But knowing your worth is key. And she said, I don't care what you have planned. I love you all, but we are wearing silver. And I'm taking that mentality into everything I do, whether it's, again, knowing my worth with how much I'm going to charge for certain services, or how often I show up for my podcast, with my TC business, whatever it is. I'm going to know my worth, and I'm going to set the standard on my terms and not let anyone else dictate how I'm going to operate things. Of course, I'm going to stay open to feedback, and communication is going to be open, but ultimately this is my show, my business, and quote unquote, I'm going to need you all to wear silver. So the next lesson, this is where are we at? Lesson number 4 that I learned was to remain a student. I tell a lot of people when I am doing one-on-one sessions that it's important to remain a student, no matter what stage or how many decades of experience you may have, because I've met people that have worked in real estate for 2-3 decades, but are still stuck at the starting line. Like, they treat it like a 9-to-5, but they don't realize that they're a business. They don't take the time to learn and grow and embrace new technology, embrace new programs, fuse the old with the new. And what I learned from Beyonce in this situation, and what I've learned from all of her shows actually, is that when you remain a student, you're able to incorporate and be relevant with today. And she always incorporates new and old music, dance moves, especially, into her shows. One particular moment for me that honestly ended up being the best moment was in the middle of her show. She broke into the song Diva, and it's an older song, and wasn't ever one of my favorites, but it's a jam. You can't help it. It's a good song. And I ended up just having the best time. And then throughout that whole point in the show, she does like one of these dances, like a little Uzi Vert dance, and then like she incorporates old instrumentals from like 90s hip hop songs. And it's just like bridging the gap between her OG fans to her new fans and everyone in between and who's on their way, right? One part of the show, I didn't attend this particular LA show, but I saw a clip, and in the intro of the show, she does some of her slower songs and more like B-sides that people weren't really radio hits. And in the middle of singing one of her songs, she noticed Tia Mowry of Sister Sister, The Game, Disney, Hallmark, all that. She, her and her sister, Tia and Tamara. She saw Tia, and for those that don't know, Tia was in a girl group back in the day before Beyonce was in a girl group, and they had this song called Yeah, Yeah, Yeah. Now, when Beyonce was coming up, her dad managed them and would make them rehearse around the clock, running in heels, all that. And if you go on YouTube, there's footage of Beyonce singing the song that Tia's group sang called Yeah, Yeah, Yeah. So when she caught a glimpse of Tia in the audience, she immediately broke into that song, which, mind you, I've already attended 2 shows. I've watched the whole concert in different cities on YouTube. She paid homage to Tia on the spot without even having to announce it, without having to tell the audience. Like, she gave her a private show, and it was beautiful to see, because it was almost full circle if you really think about it. And her remaining a student, paying homage to the person that provided the soundtrack to her upbringing, to her, musical career, was just amazing to see. And again, it just keeps you relevant. It helped her. She stayed on her toes and weaved in the song Yeah, Yeah, Yeah into her set. And it was one of those, like, if you know, you know. And it was just proof that Beyonce was just sharp and has always been a student of the game and didn't forget her roots. And in that moment of homage, it was just beautiful to witness. And I just had such a good time at this show. And even the shows I did not attend, watching the clips back it's so fun to relive. And I just find something new, and it's awesome. I love it. So that was a cool moment. But remaining a student is key, whether you're at the beginning stages of your career, the middle, the end, entering a new season of your life. Always remain a student. Be humble, be curious, have humility, keep trying. And again, going back to lesson number 2, practice makes imperfection look perfect. And this also ties into my next lesson. Be on time. Period. Punctuality. You get it. So the next lesson after that is there's more than one way to build wealth. As you see, I'm wearing official Beyonce merch on me right now, official tour merch. And that was just one of the ways that she was able to also build wealth. She sold programs, t-shirts, hoodies, shorts. I bought shorts, a couple t-shirts, a program. And yeah, I'm going to have to close a few more transactions and hire a few more paying coaching clients to recoup from what I spent at the show. But ultimately, just know that within your one skill, there are branches and multiple ways that you can build wealth without having to do 2 extremes. You didn't see Beyonce behind the counter selling the merch. You didn't see Beyonce up in the rafters controlling the lights. She showed up, sang, danced, performed, engaged with the audience, while, again, going back to, we don't have the same 24 hours, but passively, she's making money through sponsorships, through ticket sales, through merch, through everything else that may have been sold at that event that goes to her brand. So knowing that whenever you start a business, hone in on that main skill, that main offering, that main service. And then as you build a good level of comfort, and it becomes more of a habit, then you can branch off and start to create more passive or not passive income for yourself in a way that will continue to generate, whether it's courses, merch. You could sell merch yourself, digital products, courses, like a Patreon, bonus content, whatever it is, sponsorships. There's more than one way to build wealth within your one skill. So just keep that in mind. And again, if you aren't confident in the skills that you have, keep practicing. Again, practice makes imperfection look perfect. So finally, the last lesson I learned from this, it's not the last, but I just wanted to keep it short, try to keep it short, keep it to about 7, is, and shout out to Kendrick Lamar, he was a guest at her birthday show, but loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. I cannot explain, and I've witnessed this through my own community and my support system and my family, how important having a loyal support system, fan base that not just is loyal to you, but loves and respects you as well. Having that foundation of people that are in your corner, no matter what you're going through, no matter where you're at in the world, they're traveling to see you, they're buying all the products, they're advocating and speaking up for you online without you having to ask, posting about you, tagging you, referencing you, quoting you, having that community, that support system, the beehive, having your own community of people to back you up and show up is so crucial. I'm about to read this article, and feel free to read it as well, but it's called 1,000 fans, 1,000 loyal fans. Oh, 1,000 true fans. And it's by Kevin Kelly. And the gist of it is, you don't need 1 million people. You don't need tens of thousands of people to follow you and support you. You just need 1,000 loyal, true fans, and allow it to just build and grow from there. And that's what I'm working on. I'm just focusing on my beautiful, small but mighty community that I have built, and growing with you all together, because that's key. And of course, some of us may surpass others at different paces, but we are each running our own race. And when you have that support system backing you, like I said, that loyalty, 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 it makes the journey that much more easeful, that much more fun, that much more enjoyable, even during the times when it sucks. Because believe me, running a business is not for the faint of heart at all. At all. So knowing that I'm not in this alone, and I'm sure Beyonce feels the same way every time she steps onto that stage and hears the crowd roaring, it means a lot to have that support system, to have that love and that backing behind you, to know that, like, I can keep going. I need to keep going. I'm doing this for me, but I'm also doing this for us and with us together. And many of you have followed my journey up until this point. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, because if it wasn't for you all, I wouldn't have the confidence or the faith in myself to take on new challenges, take on new aspects of business, become a coach, a confidence coach. Who would have thought years ago that I'd be here having my own podcast, being able to say, I saw Beyonce twice in 1 week in 2 different cities? That is such a blessing. I do not take any of this lightly. I'm embracing the journey fully, and I'm glad I can recount all of these memories and document these journeys and these memories and these experiences online with you all, because we have to make time for ourselves and care for ourselves. That's why I put the word care. Yeah, it's a play on California real estate, but ultimately, we have to care for ourselves and care for our wealth. That's why it's one of my slogans. I'm going to constantly promote these mindsets, these mantras, these affirmations, because we are in charge of ourselves individually, first and foremost. If we're not good, we can't be good for anyone else. And in order to sustain this community, the support system, her beehive, even Beyonce has to take care of herself. And that loyalty has to be reciprocated between her and herself as well. Whether that's taking breaks between albums, not dropping visuals because she's not ready or she doesn't feel like it. Or maybe there just aren't visuals. We don't know. All of this journey is just a culmination of the decades and years and hours of work and blood, sweat, and tears and joy and laughter that we don't see. And oftentimes as entrepreneurs, people only will ever see the finished product, or at least iterations and drafts of it. They're not going to see, unless you have a camera following you 24/7 and you post unedited content, they're not going to see the blood, sweat, and the tears and the pain and the agony, and the stress, the depression, all of that. So we have to take care of ourselves in and outside of work. And I did so by attending the Renaissance World Tour. I'm so grateful for this experience. I can't believe I saw Beyonce 2 times in 1 week. Like I said, I'm 2 weeks out from the show and I'm still on this high of this natural high of, they're calling it like the Renaissance hangover. I guess you can call it that, but I don't know about you, but my hangovers never felt this good. And I am just grateful I got to share this experience with my friends, people I love and adore. And many of them, all of them, except for one, had never seen her. And the fact that I got to witness, the second show, I was watching my friends more than Beyonce. I'm not going to hold you. I was just enjoying them enjoy Beyonce because I'd seen the show. I knew what to expect. And the show was definitely just as good the second time around, which is why I'm so tempted to go a third time. But it's, I don't want to block any of my blessings. So I'm going to leave it out there. If anyone wants to sponsor me with Beyonce tickets, you know how to get a hold of me. So there were so many things I learned from this, and I will continue to always incorporate Beyonce into my episodes, no matter what. Even if it's not about Beyonce, I will somehow find a way to drop her name in the conversation or a song, a lyric, any of that. But these are just 7 lessons that I learned through attending the Renaissance World Tour. Let me know if you went to the show and what you thought about it, what you learned from her, what you're learning currently, what you would like to implement out of these 7 lessons or other lessons you may have picked up along the way. And let's talk about it. Let's create a dialogue around the people we love and enjoy and how they're impacting us in our lives, in our day-to-day, whether it's at home, at work, in our business, in our personal lives, whatever it may be. There's always something to take good and bad from each other and apply it to our day-to-day. So with all of that said, this was the Beyonce Experience episode. 7 lessons I learned from attending the Renaissance World Tour, episode 38 of the Transaction Care podcast. Now, I do have a small favor. I guess it's the second favor because I shot my shot with the Beyonce tickets. But my doors are open for coaching, and my desire to do this has been fueled by my passion for helping people and being a part of their journey and getting them to a place where they are more confident in themselves, to feel empowered and to feel courageous, to take the next leaps in their lives, whether it's their careers, their mindset, their money, their health and wellness. All of that is encompassed in this life journey that we're on. And the reason I chose confidence coaching is because every day it's a journey, it's a battle with feeling confident in doing things. But I feel like I have built up enough confidence and courage to be able to assist people in their second season of their life and being able to be a part of that journey and help them to discover their true power that is already inside of them, a power that I had to find in myself as well, that at this point, no one can take my power. Don't ever take my power, as the song says by none other than Beyonce. But I am making it my mission, truly, to be able to help and reach 1 million women, especially women of color, that are in this second season of life, that want to take that leap of faith. Whether it takes you a day or 2 years, I can help you through that journey, and just sorting through the chaos that may be living inside of your mind or even inside of your body. We harbor a lot of feelings and emotions and old narratives that we think are still true. So let's get to the root of it. Let's reverse engineer some of this chaos that's going on and turn it into confidence. And I'm here to help you do that. So you can go to firstclassdreams.com. It's official. I just said it out loud for the first time ever. If you know, you know, First Class Dreams. It's my LLC, but it's also officially now my coaching business. So head to firstclassdreams.com. First Class Dreams, First Class Dreams, First Class Dreams. So often we put our dreams and our goals on the back burner in coach, and now it's time we upgrade. Let me upgrade you. Firstclassdreams.com to learn more. Fill out the intake form and we can gauge where you're at, where your budget's at. I'm willing to work with you, and whatever it takes, as long as you and I align and are on the same page with things, and we can work together. I'll be your coach and I'm here to help. So check it out. I appreciate you, especially if you made it this far in the episode. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, and head to firstclassdreams.com. This has been another episode of the Transaction Care Podcast. My name is Lillian Hernandez, aka Lilliance. Just kidding. AKA Lily like the flower, because we are learning and growing together. And until the next episode, I'm giving you the keys. There are no gatekeepers here. Care for yourself, care for your wealth. Your time is worth it. Let's coordinate. Talk soon.